Hi, and welcome to the Health Begins with Mom show. I am Dorit, your host. On this podcast, I will share insights and interviews on health, parenting, and explore the question of what does it take to thrive as women, wives, and mothers. Now, let's get going with today's episode. Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the Health Begins with Mom podcast. This is Dorit, your host. Thank you so much for joining, for listening, for sharing your most valuable resource with me, which is your time and attention, of course. Today on the show, I wanted to share with you the recording of the webinar I've done yesterday, the March the 19th. So this episode is going to be going live on the 20th of March. So I wanted to share the lesson with you. It has been amazing. It was so much fun. The women who've attended it had gained so much value. And I think even more than value, it was a lot of aha moments of like, really? I never even thought of that. So I am super excited to share it with you. I initially didn't think I'm going to share it. And then I decided, you know what, why not? If you have the time, if you have the space, if you want to learn a little bit more, then go ahead and give it a listen. So on this webinar, the title of it was, we talked about healing, the 5 secrets to healing from anxiety and burnout. That is the webinar I was inviting you into in the previous podcast episodes. And we basically talked about why do women, first of all, we've defined what anxiety and burnout mean in the context of motherhood and busy life. And then we talked about why are women so prone to being anxious and being and being burnt out, and what are the things that we can do. I've also led women through a pretty comprehensive quiz. It's kind of like, in air quotes, a self-diagnostic tool to help you visually see where you are most out of balance in terms of your health. So we talked about the 3 pillars of their health, and so you will also get access to the entire quiz. And I highly encourage you to grab a pen and paper, take notes, and see for yourself where you are out of balance as well. So if you can do, listen to this episode, not while you're driving, maybe while you're doing the laundry, or maybe when you are, kind of like winding down, and just when you can, to kind of pay attention and take that quiz as well. And I think it will change a lot of, it will help you to have a better perspective. And then obviously we talked about the 5 secrets to healing from anxiety and burnout. And then I also introduced how I work with people. So at the time, right now, if you're listening in real time, I'm accepting new applications to the Health Begins with Mom Mastery program. I spoke in much greater detail about the program, about the cost of the program, about what's included in the program, and all of that amazing stuff. So if you have any questions, as always, please feel free to reach out to me. You can find me over at Instagram at Health Begins with Mom. And that's it, I think. Anyways, I'm not going to keep you any longer because the webinar was pretty long. So without further ado, here it is. Enjoy, guys. All right. So welcome, everybody. Welcome to the 5 secrets to healing from anxiety and burnout. webinar, and we're talking about healing from a perspective of the feminine, right? So we're healing as females. It would be a completely different conversation if we spoke about men today, okay? Healing as a man. I'm not gonna get too much into this, and it's not about, men are good or women are better. It's not about that. It's just about the fact that we are built differently, biologically, physically, emotionally. We're different, two different beings, although we're, human beings. But we really, the more I work with women, the more I also have my own experience. I'm realizing that we really, really don't understand how we're built and how we're created and how biologically we're wired. And this is really important, especially when we are talking about healing, about self-care, about taking care of our bodies, of our health, about our emotional health, and of course, passing this legacy on, right? So if you are a busy woman, if you're a busy mom, if you're a busy working woman, this webinar is for you. I think I've connected with a woman here before, and we spoke about how all of this, the topic of anxiety, overwhelm, burnout, chronic stress, it's relatable to almost all of us, And so I welcome you. Thank you for joining. Thank you for taking the time. I just want to make sure, can you see my slides? Just nod with your head so that I know that it's all clear. Okay, perfect. All right, so I want to ask you for the next 90 minutes or so to turn off any distractions, whether it's your phone, your Facebook, your Instagram, all of this, because I want you to be here, right? One of the things that is related, one of the things we're going to talk about today is really about mindfulness and just being present in the moment. And I want to encourage you to start this process right now. If you're here, if you've made the time, you're here, you've cleared your schedule, you are here. I want you to make take the absolute best that you can out of session today. All right, I have more people joining in. Hi, Tal. I'm just gonna mute you guys so that I can make sure that I don't have any mute. All right, so we're talking about, welcome to all the people who are joining. This is so exciting. I love technology. This is so cool. So we're talking about healing from anxiety and burnout as a woman, and I'm going to be looking this way. I'm going to be looking this way because I have my phone here and I'm recording this for my IGTV, and over here I have my notes. So if I'm looking sideways, it's not because I'm ignoring you, it's because I'm trying to be everywhere all at once. But please turn off any distractions. If you must, hide in the closets. Although if you're in my time zone, it's Eastern, it's 9 p.m., kids should be in bed. And if they're not, then it's okay for them to sit there, but give them something. It's okay to give them even an iPad if you must, because I want you to be here. Also get a pen and paper ready, because this webinar is jam-packed with some amazing information to help you take care of your body, of your soul, and really truly kind of like start this road to heal, this roadmap, right? Create this roadmap to heal from anxiety and burnout, because I truly believe that anxiety and burnout, although this is the mainstream kind of in our society these days, that anxiety and burnout and chronic stress comes with motherhood and parenting, but I refuse to believe that this is the truth, okay? Because it just cannot be the truth. So we are going to be talking all about this and about the how can I do this otherwise? What is the, how can I, enjoy a good quality of life while still, caring obviously about my family and about my work and career and all of this, and juggle all the things, all the pieces of my life, but still without sacrificing and killing myself in the process. Okay. Also, please, I encourage you to stick around until the very end, because I will give you some incredible bonuses. And really today is packed with some awesome value, and it's all dedicated to your well-being and the health, of course, and the health of your family, because when you are well, everyone around you benefits. Okay. And so, like I said, plan to be here, plan to spend the next 90 minutes or so with me here. And I at the end, I will make sure to leave some time for questions. So you are very much encouraged to interact with me. And what's cool about this platform of Zoom is you can actually unmute yourself and talk to me. So you don't have to just chat, although you're welcome to use chat as well. All right, everybody, let's get the party started, right? Okay, so here's the agenda for today. A sip of water. We're going to talk about what is burnout, and we're going to talk about and also the definition of anxiety, and we're going to talk about why are women so burnt out, and why are we so prone, or why we tend to be burnt out. I'm also going to walk you through a pretty cool quiz to help you identify why you are out of balance, or why you're feeling out of alignment in your life. So make sure you have a pen and paper ready so you can write this down. And also I will introduce you to the 3 pillars of your health as a woman. So if you've heard me on Instagram, I've been talking about this all, the past 2 weeks. The 3 pillars of our health as a woman are our hormonal health, our digestive health, and our nervous system. So these 3 systems, it's like, a triangle. I will show you a diagram of this a little bit later, but these 3 are really key in terms of keeping us feeling alive and vibrant and healthy and all of those amazing things. Okay, and then we'll get into the 5 secrets to healing from anxiety and burnout, as well as overwhelm, chronic stress, panic, chronic worrying. I remember I used to be a chronic worrier. Everything was an emergency, and I would kind of attract bad things into my life. We're going to cover all of that. And then as a bonus, I will also introduce you to the process that I've developed to help women truly heal and take care of themselves, with regards to, not only with regards to anxiety and burnout, but also, since this is a topic for today, this is going to be relevant. So if you know me, I am not the surface level kind of girl, no 4 weeks, 6 weeks kind of programs. I like to take my clients deep into a deep transformative process, because I truly believe that, especially as a busy woman, as a busy mother, it's really difficult to truly transform in a short time span. So for us to heal, we need, because we're so busy, we need time to be okay with hiccups along the way, and the hiccups will come. It's just a reality of our life, of our lifestyle, of the modern busy life, right? And so I'll introduce you to the program that I've designed, and my program is 6 months long, and we're going to talk about this a little bit later. I will explain why it's long and all of that. So this is the agenda for today. So let's get into first my healing from burnout story. I assume that the majority of you are on my email list. You've been hearing from me. You've been maybe a podcast listener, so you might be listening to the Health Begins with Mom show. You might be, you might find me. You might have found me on Instagram or on Facebook, wherever it is. If you know me, amazing. But for those of you who don't, let me share with you my healing from burnout story. So
before I do that, I have to do something. I'm going to stop my video because I feel like my internet is kind of weak. So I'm going to stop my video. I'm still here. You will hear me. You're just not going to see me. All right? Okay, cool. Okay. So my name is Dorit. I am a wife and a mom of 3 daughters. I am a women's health and embodiment coach with a background in holistic nutrition. Before I tell you more about what I do and how I help, let me tell you how I got here, because it will make much more sense. So I am a daughter of a mother who, just like me, had 3 girls. I actually come from a maternal lineage, which is full of women who struggled to live authentically and take care of themselves, and as a result suffered from physical symptoms, suffered from emotional pain, mental diseases, and even spiritual disconnection to the divine and themselves. I have witnessed this pain firsthand in my own mother, who suffered from depression by the very young age of 40, and she had to be medicated for years after that. I've also witnessed this pain firsthand in my maternal grandmother's struggle with a high blood pressure, diabetes, which led to a brain stroke and eventually to a painful dementia and a slow, heartbreaking passing. Also in my paternal grandmother, whose gallbladder was removed at the young age of 45, and who then suffered with weight gain, anxiety, panic attacks, heart problems, diabetes, and chronic iron deficiency. And then, of course, my beloved aunt, who suffered from breast cancer, ovarian cancers, fibroids, depression, thyroid problems, weight gain, with mental problems, and other debilitating health problems. So as you can see, sadly, vibrancy and robust health, aliveness, and joy were very, very rare in my lineage. And I was truthfully headed in the same direction, along with and this is just the reality of things, right? Along with my 3 little girls. So by the age of 30, my body started to manifest extreme fatigue. By the age of 30, I had two kids. I had extreme burnout, anxiety, panic attacks. I would wake up at night with heart palpitations, just completely just worrying all the time that somebody bad is going to happen to me, with hormonal imbalances, brain fog, low back pain, skeletal pain, especially in my mid-back, which refers to an adrenal fatigue. I've had a carpal tunnel syndrome, sciatic pain, blurry vision, you name it, I had it. Adult acne, hair loss, very heavy periods with huge blood clots. And at the time, I didn't really know what all of this meant. All it felt like it literally felt like I am just falling apart. Like something really, really bad is going to happen. It's just a matter of time for me. Emotionally and mentally, I was depressed, I was unhappy, I was negative, and I was miserable. And the daily challenges of motherhood consumed me with victimhood and feeling really, really sorry for myself. And I remember this moment when I looked in the mirror and I just couldn't recognize myself. Like, who was I? Who was this person staring back at me? Up until I became a mom, I was a happy, energetic, and positive woman. And people used to say that the room would light up when I come in, and it was difficult not to notice me. And actually, before we got married, my husband used to call me an energizer bunny because of all the energy that I've had. But with pregnancy and labor, something major happened to me, and I felt like I've lost myself. This is not how I envisioned this stage of my life to be, and I think you guys can really relate to this piece. And this is when I realized that maybe, just maybe, the reason I felt so depleted and so unwell it's not because this is how it should be. It's just because I wasn't taught and wasn't presented with the resources and the tools and the information and the education to have it otherwise. Okay, I didn't know how to eat. I didn't know how to exercise. I didn't know how to socialize. I didn't know how to show up in my life, how to take care of myself, especially post-baby. Because what happens after we have a baby, labor, pregnancy and labor and delivery, it's a monumental bodily event that we just don't know how to show up for, how to kind of take care of post, after it's already done. We kind of assume in the society that we should be able to kind of, keep going and, just suck it up and keep going. But this is so wrong. And what's worse, all of this had a really direct effect on my most sacred work at home as a wife and a mother, and also my work and my career. The debilitating aches and pains prevented me from showing up for my family. I definitely wasn't happy. Nothing was good enough. I wanted to control everything. I was in everybody's business. Everything had to go through me. I yelled a lot. I still do, but much less. My husband and kids didn't enjoy my company, let me put it this way. I just wasn't a nice mommy, and I wasn't a nice person. I was an angry, bitter, raging wife and mom struggling with a severe identity crisis. And now I say identity crisis, but really, truly what it was a real physical problem that I just had fried adrenals. That was just the reality of it. So because of my own pain, literal and figurative, my current work is dedicated to healing the legacy of suffering and health conditions in women that arise as a result of not taking care of ourselves, especially when we are moms. I've learned that these behaviors are generational patterns that travel across generations and keep reappearing until someone breaks this destructive chain. And in my situation, this person had to be me, and in your situation, this has to be you. So in this process that I've alluded to in the beginning, I basically take a woman, wife, or mother who feels confused, dry, disconnected, unhealthy, unjoyful, and I guide her through my transformative 6 months program into a strong, vibrant, alive, powerful, animated, focused, fun, loving, passionate woman who flirts with life. Isn't this what we all want? We just want to be happy again, right? Who embodies her true potential and raises her family from that very place. Okay, I see people are joining. That's amazing. We are talking about healing from burnout, from anxiety and burnout today. And I will have time for a Q&A at the very end. So if you have any questions, please jot them down in your notebook, or maybe even you can drop them in the chat section below, and I will get to them at the end. So this is my story. And this is my mission. So for those of you who are new to this, welcome to my world. Welcome to the world of Health Begins with Mom. This is what my work is all about, teaching mothers to understand and heal their female bodies so that we can embody self-love, self-acceptance, radical self-care, and pass this on to the next generation. So healing the feminine is my healing journey, and I'm honored to share it with you. All right, so let's walk through some definitions right after I take a sip of water. Okay, so what is anxiety? So anxiety, according to Wikipedia, is a feeling of worry, nervousness, or unease, typically about an imminent event or something with an uncertain outcome. Okay, so this is according to Wikipedia. Now, in the world of psychiatry, anxiety is defined as a nervous disorder characterized by a state of excessive uneasiness and apprehension, typically with compulsive behavior or panic attacks. Now, when I talk about anxiety today, in the context of our webinar here, I refer to anxiety, to the first definition of anxiety. For, I don't know, I don't want to say the normal, but for, I refer to anxiety in the context of burnout moms who juggle a million things and who, because very rarely have that moment of pause and serenity and solitude for themselves, because of that, the kind of byproduct of that is that feeling of worry and nervousness and or unease and all of that stuff. I do not refer to the psychiatric term, which requires a therapist or a psychiatrist, or maybe even medication, maybe some a customized treatment plan that is right for you. So just to be clear, we are talking about anxiety from the lens of overworked and tired moms, okay? And then the term burnout is borrowed from the world of machinery, actually, and industrialization, and it refers to the failure of an electrical device or component through overheating. So when there is some kind of a electrical or machine component that is working for an extended period of time, eventually what happens is it just overheats, and as a result, it stops working, right? So in our context, burnout refers to a physical or mental collapse caused by overwork or stress, okay? And I think we can all understand what that means. So here is one painful truth that I have learned through, my work with women, and also through my own personal experience. As women, we don't know how to take care of ourselves. This is just, it took me years to kind of uncover this truth, but this is the truth. We know very well how to take care of others, but when it comes to us, when it comes to prioritizing ourselves, when it comes to really, it's like one of you guys told me today, I don't know how to dream. I don't have a dream. What is it that I want, right? So at the end of it all, it really comes down to this one truth, that we are not taught how to take care of ourselves. It's almost like when we're born into this world, we know that we are amazing and we are worthy and we should have all the things that we want, and then we meet our moms that might who might have been kind of not very happy in her life, or maybe our dads experienced something, or maybe we've seen a very something very, very sad on TV, and through this exposure to sad events and people, we kind of learn to we learn to forget about who we are and what are the things that we are worth of, in terms of in terms of having them or even doing, right? But I, from what I have seen in my own life and also the life of my clients, once you're given this permission to dream, it's like magic begins to happen. It's like this sadness, this deep sadness that was kind of like living inside of your body over many, many, many years starts to kind of unravel. And that is when true healing actually begins. Okay. So this is the truth. And I found this really cool quote from a book called The Rushing Woman Syndrome. And this is written by Dr. Libby Weaver. And she goes like this: "Never before in my work have I witnessed so many females in such an intense rush to do everything and be all things to all people. Never before have I seen the extent of reproductive system problems that I now see. Women are wired. Many of them are tired too. Tired but wired. And this relentless urgency this perception that there is not enough time combined with a never-ending to-do list, having significant health consequences for many, many women. Okay, so imagine a typical modern woman, wife and mother, right? Maybe even hint, think about yourself. It doesn't seem to matter whether she has 2 things to do or 200. She is often in a pressing rush to do it all. Wound up like a spring, she runs herself ragged in a daily battle to keep up. There is always so much to do, and she very rarely feels like she wins, like she's in control or gets on top of things. In fact, her deep desire to control even the smaller details of life leave her feeling out of control, even of herself. All right, so I think we can all relate to this, and this is also a little portion from Dr. Weaver's book. And so I wanted to give you a little representation of how it looks like to be a rushing woman, to be constantly go, you know, constantly doing things, achieving things, and being somewhere else other than here. This is how it feels like, and this is our everyday. This is how our kids see us. This is how our husbands see us. This is how our family sees us. And the reality of this is that if we don't stop, then we're gonna get sick. This is just the truth, okay? I'm not gonna hide it from you. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. From this state, disease begins. Because what happens is the body doesn't know to distinguish between true danger and perceived danger, okay? And this state is perceived danger. So think about it this way. Back in the day, right? So our biology is wired for keeping us safe from, let's say, a tiger who is running after you, and they're gonna kill you. They're gonna eat you. And so what happens in the body, your adrenals are secreting cortisol and adrenaline to help you flee as fast as possible, right? This is called the fight or flight response. And it's designed to help you survive. Survival is above anything when it comes to the health of the body, right? It's above the health of your skin or the weight of your body. It's beyond all of this. The body's primarily interest is to keep you safe, make sure that you survive. And so now in modern life, we no longer have tigers, we no longer have real danger. What we do have is perceived danger. But this perceived danger, the body doesn't know how to distinguish between what's real and what's unreal, and it acts out in the same way, right? Your adrenals are pumping adrenaline and cortisol, which are 2 hormones that are absolutely necessary for survival, but are doing a lot of harm and damage in our tissues, and in this triangle that we spoke about, when they are working nonstop. And remember that machine that overheats, that is what adrenal burnout or adrenal fatigue is referred to, because our adrenals, they work like a pump, but they're not designed to pump nonstop. All right, so I want you to understand from this state, if this is your day-to-day, if this is what happens for you, you know, the majority, 90% of the time, then it needs to change, because if it doesn't, then you will get sick and something really, really bad will happen. And obviously you are here because you don't want this to happen. And me too. So why are women so wired for anxiety and or burnout? Excuse me. So as women, we are wired for connection. And as a result, we tend to be more sensitive to being rejected. We don't like to be rejected. We like to be accepted and loved and feeling like we connect and we interact with the other person, right? So rejection is one of those fears that kind of like live in us, and they begin to emerge from childhood, from when we are actually little girls ourselves. And our deepest need to never feel rejected establishes itself when we are young girls. So remember, this is perceived, right? This is not real. This is something that you believe to be true. You accept it for the reality. So it could be maybe the look on your mom's face when you did something when you were younger, or how your father brushed you off with his impatient tone that made you feel rejected. Or maybe you've internalized that your dad's drinking problem was your fault. It could be, anything that is, that happened in your life or my life. It doesn't really matter. But from there, what happens is that we spend the rest of our lives, and all of this is actually subconscious, because as children we don't have the awareness to deal with this kind of, the awareness and the emotional maturity to handle this stuff. And for the rest of our lives, on some level, what we basically do is we do absolutely everything that we can to never ever feel that way again. So we don't want to feel shut out, to feel unloved, to feel ostracized, to feel abandoned, neglected. And again, so what do? We please people, right? Because, if I don't do something that somebody asks, then I'm not loved, then I'm not, accepted, and I'm rejected, and I don't like that feeling. And so I'm going to do whatever I can to kind of deny it and push it away. Now, so what happens from that state is we cannot sleep. So like if we're talking about basics, right? We cannot sleep if we are worried that we've upset someone, right? And we have to be the good girl, the one that does things right, quote unquote, right? You despise conflict as a result, mainly because you want to keep the peace. Right? You seek acceptance, you seek approval, appreciation, and love. And you're not putting yourself first because you feel ashamed and guilty that if you do, you are taking away from someone else. So this is really a scarcity mindset, believing that if you take something for yourself, you absolutely are taking away from somebody else. And when we're thinking abundantly, right, when we're changing the mindset around and really kind of like putting ourselves on the roadmap towards healing, true healing from anxiety or burnout, or even any physical symptom that you are already manifesting, the first thing we need to do is have this mindset shift and have an abundant mindset as opposed to a scarcity mindset, right? So this is where it all begins. Now, on top of that, what happens, right? So we spoke about the emotional component, and now let's talk about the physical component, right? On top of that, we don't take care of our bodies. So remember I said we don't really know how to take care of ourselves. So what happens is we drink way too much coffee, we don't sleep, and we don't rest enough. We are over exercising, we're pushing too hard, we lack solitude. This is especially for moms, and I remember this in my own life. I was so I was afraid. I was just afraid to ask to be on my own. I felt like when I ask or demand to be on my own and nurture myself, it was selfish. And it was this is such BS, because now I know, and I've been practicing this for the past 2 years. Actually, now that I am clear in terms of my boundaries, and I am actually more loving to my kids, and my kids want more of me. They actually want to be more in my surroundings, because now I'm actually nicer. And if I say that I need some space, they get it, and they're actually learning to use that language as well. So it's totally okay to say no, and to require some time and space for yourself. It doesn't mean you're a selfish person. All it means that you love yourself, you appreciate yourself, and you feel like you're worthy of worthy of a break for yourself. Okay, and then we overload ourselves, our livers, with alcohol, with trans fats, sugars, synthetic substances such as pesticides, medications, skincare, etc., etc. And also, we don't believe that we have the choice. We believe that this is what it is. This is my life. You know, all of this comes with motherhood, so I'm just gonna suck it up and keep going. But I'm telling you that this is BS. This is not true. So what's the result of it all? Women today are suffering with sex hormone-based health issues like PCOS, and actually today more than ever, and this is research-based, I'm not making this stuff up. So PCOS, endometriosis, infertility, and debilitating menopause symptoms. I'm going to challenge you. I want you to show me or introduce me to at least one woman in your life that you know that has a pretty easy menopausal experience. One woman. Just think about one woman. If you cannot think about at least one woman, it tells you a lot, right? And if you can't think of that woman, I can pretty much guarantee that she's really taking care of herself, and she's doing at least some of the things that we're going to talk about today. Okay. Also, imbalanced hormones, depleted adrenal glands like I had from long-term overproduction of stress hormones, sluggish thyroid glands, and even cancer. Okay, so all this stuff is real, and all this rush and go and you know, the inability to take a breath and just to relax and to feel calm and present. All of this, it's not just kind of like a luxury or a nice to have. Oh, you know, other women can have it, but it's not for me. No, this is actually real. It's actually corroding our ability to restore, to rejuvenate, and to be healthy. And with time, and I've noticed this with my clients, especially the ones who hit 35, you know, the age 35, the body is just, you know, by this age, we are, well, the majority of us are done with having kids. And biologically speaking, we are kind of useless, right? So biologically, what happens is the body will start basically, what's the word, to degenerate, right? It starts to deteriorate. It's just a natural state of being, right? This is how the world works. And so if you don't take action, if you don't kind of help to slow down this process, it is going to happen faster for you, and you will going to suffer. And who enjoys suffering? Like, nobody enjoys to suffer in their body, right? When you don't feel good, when you're not, you know, jumping out of bed with happiness and joy, then what's the point of it all? Like, what's the point in living, right? So I want you to remember this. We have got to change this. This can no longer be the norm. Otherwise, we are living, not only are we suffering ourselves, but we're also leaving a legacy of dis-ease, illness, and depletion for our sons and daughters. And this is not fair, okay? It's not fair to you, and it's not fair to them. So let's talk about the roads to healing. How does it look like? So once you understand what is really going on, you will see that the swing between rushing versus not rushing, anxiety versus calmness, burnout versus being productive and feeling in control of your life and health is driven by your beliefs. And your behavior is the extension of those beliefs, right? So what I believe, so first I think, and then I believe in these thoughts, and then I'm going to take the actions that are going to fuel those beliefs, right? Unless we question those beliefs upon which our actions are based, the actions will likely to continue, right? It's like Einstein said, right? The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. It's insanity, right? In order to see change, we have to try something different. So regardless of the circumstances, when you feel or perceive that your life is challenging, and no matter how big or how small those challenges are, they have an impact. right? So remember those pictures of these women who are rushing, who are running everywhere? What you perceive, here's the key. I want you to remember this and maybe even make a note of this in your notebook. What you perceive is then hormonally generated by your biochemistry. So you think, you believe, you take the action, and then your body your hormones are actually going to kind of embody what you believe, and it's going to be manifested in your biochemistry. Okay, so this is science. This is not woo-woo, all right? So as women, we are strong, we are capable, we are intuitive, we're highly intuitive, we are highly conscious and aware, and we're powerful, and we're graceful creators. Okay, not only do we know to make things, but we are actually literally the creative force of this world, because we bring babies to this world. And so this is why I believe that specifically because we are women, we must learn how to take care of ourselves so that we can pass this on to the next generation. All right, so let's interact a little bit. I want you to tell me in the chat, so that I can take some breath and have some water. I want you to tell me, why are you here? So I've been talking for all this time now. I want you to let's take a little break, and I want you to give yourself the permission to maybe dream, or maybe ask yourself really, like, what is it that I want? Why did I decide to show up for this webinar? What is it about the title that spoke to me? What is it that I would like to change? Just in the chat, type. I want each and every one of you. There are 4 women here live, and many more will be on the replay, but I want you to tell me in the chat, why are you here? What about being anxious and burnt out is really difficult for you? Okay, I'm gonna open the chat. So some women in today's session in the afternoon, I've done a session at 12 p.m. Some said that they are just, what's the point? What's the point of all of this, craziness? She was a mom of 3 kids, and she just realized that she's just unhappy. And how can it be? She waited for, to become a mom, and then now she's just suffering. So, Tell me in the chat, what is it that you would like to change? Why are you here? Why are you learning about health? What do you want in your health to change? Okay, so Leah is saying, I want to be happier. Tali's saying, I'm looking for food for thought. How to help me to start changing my way of thinking that hopefully will lead to change of behavior. Yes, this is where it begins. Lauren, you want to say? I have been feeling extremely anxious lately about many things: work, time, energy, money, etc. I have been physically and mentally having a difficult time. I want to learn more strategies so that I can feel better and to help my son with his anxiety. Yes, and this is an important point. So many times, and in my case, I've seen this too. When I was anxious, my kids were anxious too. It's almost like we are connected through this invisible energetic line, that when we as moms don't know how to take care of ourselves, don't know how to take care of our emotions, and don't know how to take care of our bodies, this is like our kids are picking up on this energy, and then as a result they manifest very similar symptoms. And the worst thing is when you're anxious along with your child and the house is just a chaos. So I understand how that feels. My second daughter is actually, she was born into this into the worst time of my life. And we've gone through a long way, a long way to heal, both me and her as well. And I've done a podcast episode where I spoke about how to help our daughters heal. So I think I called it Healing Our Daughters. So definitely make sure you check that episode out. Maybe it will help you, Lauren, with in terms of strategies to help your son. All right, thank you so much for sharing. Let's go back to the slides. So as you can see, all of us, we have very different reasons for why we are here. Sorry, I think somebody was saying something and I ignored. Let me go back and check. Thanks, I'll check it out. Okay, cool. So, all right. So, yes, change is possible. The choice is really yours. I want you to refuse to accept that this is your reality and this is how it should be, and that burnout and anxiety and anxiousness and chronic stress come with motherhood. It's BS. It's not true. So do not accept, please do not accept that as your reality. And being healthy, quote unquote healthy, doesn't have to be difficult. It doesn't have to be hard. It can be simple. It's just really a matter of how you're coming to it and what is your mindset around this, right? So think about this. How would your life look like 6 months from now, 12 months from now? Is your life going to be the same? Is your life going to be worse? God forbid. What do you need to do in order to turn your life around? And I'm telling you, I've seen this in my personal life and also in the lives of my clients. It is 100% possible. I speak from experience and as a witness of hundreds of clients who've taken the leap and chosen themselves. So today I want to show you how. So let's dive deeper. So, ta-da-da-da, the 3 pillars of women's health. So now I want you to take your notebook with a pen and draw this triangle. So like I said, these are the 3 pillars of your health as a woman, okay? And as you can see, the triangle on the sides, it has arrows, and the arrows are kind of like, they have 2 ends to them, right? And that's to signify that the different systems, so the nervous system, the digestive system, and the hormonal system, they're all connected. They're constantly communicating with each other. And the way they communicate is through our hormones and through nerve impulses and through serotonins and through actual digestive particles that have come to you through the digestive process. And so if that communication pathway is broken for whatever reason, then it is going to be manifested in symptoms. And the thing is, because each and every one of us is different, we will manifest different symptoms, right? This is why, not all of us have heavy periods and painful periods or PCOS, but a lot of us do have very similar symptoms. So I want you to draw this triangle, and what we're going to do, I'm going to be walking you through a quiz, which is basically, I'm going to read to you a few sentences. And in these sentences, I'm going to ask you, so I'm going to say, now I'm reading, sorry. I'm going to be reading sentences that relate to the nervous system. So what I want you to do is, next to the nervous system, all you have to do is to just have a check mark. Okay, so you don't have to write the whole sentence down. You just have to put a check mark if this sentence resonates with you. And you're going to do this for the nervous system, for the digestive system, and for the hormonal system. And the idea here is, I want you to see visually where you feel the majority of the imbalance. Now, it could absolutely happen that all the sentences will resonate. And so that what that means is that there is an indication that you are out of balance in all three systems, and that is okay. Don't be afraid. This is not something that should be alarming. Always remember that there's always something that you can do, right? This is what I'm here for. People like me, there are many other people in the health field who can help you heal. But the idea is, let's start exploring. All right, so like I said, I'm going to be reading you these sentences, and all you have to do is put some check marks. Okay, so let's begin. So here are the signs that your nervous system is unbalanced. So all you have to do is put a check mark if you resonate next to the nervous system. So you regularly feel restless or on red alert. You have anger issues. No matter how carefully you count calories or exercise, your body's shape and size is a mystery to you. So you're really struggling with losing weight. I know that this is one that I can relate to. You crave sugars and or starches, so carbohydrates. You love coffee and energy drinks, anything that contains caffeine, although sometimes you notice that they make your heart race. You startle, you jump easily, okay? You often don't sleep well. You don't wake up restored or with good energy. If you don't go to bed by 10 p.m., you get a second wind and end up staying awake until at least 1 a.m. So we're still in the nervous system. You regularly feel tired but wired. You are a warrior or a drama queen. So even if you yourself would never call yourself a drama queen, be honest with yourself here. If people around you call you a drama queen, put a check mark, okay? You feel anxious easily. Your breathing tends to be shallow and quite fast. You struggle to say no to people. You laugh less than you used to. Everything in life seems urgent. Everything is an emergency, even if it's not. You feel like there aren't enough hours in the day. Okay, so these are the sentences related to the nervous system. Now we're moving on to the hormonal system, okay? So the hormonal system, because hormonal system imbalances are so much more widespread, and this is the majority of my work actually with women, there are going to be many more sentences in this section, okay? So we're in the hormonal system. So just the same way, put a check mark to whatever sentences that resonate with you. So you've gained weight during or after a stressful period in your life, whether it is a loss, even a pregnancy, something that is stressful that happened in your life. And you may have lost weight initially during the stress, but you regained that weight plus some more. Your body fat has increased around your middle, back of your arms, and you have grown what I lovingly refer to as a back veranda. So your back is bigger than you would like it to be. Your face looks puffy or swollen at times, and other causes have been ruled out. You have heavy and or painful periods, and you tend to take painkillers during menstruation. Your menstrual flow contains clots, blood clots. You get PMS symptoms. You have regular headaches or migraines in the lead up to menstruation. You have an irregular menstrual cycle. You have PCOS, endometriosis, or fibroids. You experience poor or worse sleep quality in the lead up to menstruation. You have a thyroid condition or disease. When you read symptoms of an underactive thyroid, they resonate with you, yet you are told your blood test results are fine. But when you see them, though, they tend to be skewed to one end of the normal range. You have a tendency toward constipation. You have long-term estrogen dominant symptoms. So for example, PMS. You feel weary to your bones. You are beyond tired. Your body feels heavy and lethargic. You crave salty foods. You crave coffee and it doesn't amp you up. Your brain feels slightly more functional after you have it, but it doesn't last for a long time. You get groin aches. Your voice has changed. It is husky on occasions, particularly when you are extra tired. You feel like you retain fluid in your body. You have a tendency to a depressed mood, forgetfulness, and a sense of being easily confused. You experience hair loss. You have brittle hair and nails. You have dry skin. You've had your gallbladder removed. You suffer from chronic stress. You have a family history of poor thyroid function or disease. You have a family history of autoimmune conditions. You have been diagnosed with adrenal fatigue or another condition involving the endocrine system, or you have been previously diagnosed with an autoimmune condition. All right, so we're done for the hormonal system. So I assume that you have the most check marks so far in the hormonal department. Okay, if you do, it doesn't surprise me. Okay, moving on to the digestive system. So again, just a check mark, all right? Let's do this. So you experience reflux and or indigestion. You experience recurring bad breath and or bad taste in your mouth. You experience recurring diarrhea or constipation. You are often bloated and feeling like a stuffed up sausage. That's a term from one of my clients. Your farts smell really bad. You pass a pale, black, frothy, or poorly formed stools, or there is food visible in the stool. You have gut pain. Your tummy makes noises and you can hear them, particularly at night. This is totally me. You have unexplained fatigue. You feel lousy and worse after eating. You regularly overeat or lose your appetite altogether. You belch a lot. Even water makes you burp sometimes. You have a food sensitivity and are becoming more sensitive to foods with time. You rarely feel hungry. You feel full very quickly. You have addictions to some foods that you are not willing to give up. Dairy and cheese is one of them. You regularly take medications. You have taken antibiotics many times throughout your life. You tend toward a low mood. You've been diagnosed with depression. Your skin is congested, breaks out easily and unpredictably, or tends towards redness and inflammation. All right. So, ladies, which systems have you noticed the most unbalanced? Let me know in the chat. I'm curious. Leah, you want to go first? Nervous, eh? How about Tal? Lauren? How about you? Where is the majority of your imbalances happen? I had high marks in all three. Yeah, that's okay. That's totally, well, I'm not going to say normal, but it's just common, very, very common. How about Tal? Hormonal. Yeah, I get it. For me, it's also in all three. All right, so now that we've kind of self-diagnosed, no, we didn't. let's move on. So did you find this helpful? I hope you did. I wanted to make this kind of interactive so that you actually participate. So now what I want to ask you is, would it be okay for me to show you how I can help facilitate your transformation and help you experience the same success that my clients have? So either type in the chat or just nod yes. All right, cool. All right, so let's get into the 5 secrets to healing from anxiety and burnout. So this slide has all of them, and then we're going to dive deeper into each and one of them. Now, I want to say something before I dive deeper into them, because I know that this is like, really? Like, sleep? Seriously? Now, I want you to remember, when it comes to healing, and especially something like anxiety and burnout, the road to healing is really simple. It's really simple. Like the things that you need to do are simple, but where it becomes difficult is with the implementation. Like, believe me, I have clients who struggle with winding down at night. And so I have to be kind of mushing them over months to just get them to sleep, because they have trained their body to just not sleep, and it's struggle. And so the first thing on this list is restorative sleep. And although it might seem like it's easy, like it's simple, but it's definitely one of those things that I, as a health coach, I just could not leave out, because when we're anxious and burnout, there is absolutely nothing that I can help you, or there is absolutely no supplement that I can give you to help you unless you sleep, because your body restores and your body heals while you sleep. So if you are having issues in the sleep department, girl, the first thing we need to do is to get you to a restorative and restful sleep. All right? So the first thing is restorative sleep. And then the second thing is you must learn how to eat like a woman and live in alignment with your feminine current. Now, I know all of this sounds like Chinese. I'm going to dive a little bit deeper into this in a minute. But really the idea here is to kind of stop following dogma, stop dieting, stop doing all of the things that you read in beauty magazines or blogs and all of that. Stop with that. The idea here is that you really have to connect to who you are as a human being, as a woman, and start listening to what your body needs and craves, right? And then I'm going to talk to you about the feminine current, which each and every one of us has. And of course, it's different, but the phases are very similar in all of us. Okay, so we're going to dive into that in a few minutes. And then the third thing is to have a healthy bowel movement. And this is the key: daily. So just like with sleep, it's something that has to happen every single day over a long period of time. You need to be pooping daily. If you're not pooping, if you're constipated, right? And I can see this when I see women on the street. I can see, whether she's constipated or she's not. Because when you are constipated, you literally you feel like a balloon, like things are just moving so slow in the body. And with time, right, with age, it happens slower and slower and lower and worse and worse and worse, right? So we must do something. We must kind of change things so that we help our digestive system to heal and restore naturally. And then the fourth thing is to start doing yoga, right? A form of moving meditation, and also doing some embodiment work. I will explain what that means in a bit. And then the fifth thing is to slow the fuck down. I'm sorry for cussing. Stop rushing and just pause, right? As women, we have incredible powers, feminine superpowers, and the benefit of the feminine energy and superpowers is the power of a pause, the power of rumination, the power of slowing down and just kind of like brewing with ideas and concepts and with life, right? So this rush and constant go, 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 this is actually a very masculine energy that is consuming us. And so just, I'm sure you've seen the yin and the yang circle, right? The black and white circle. This is the key. This is the secret of life. When you are feeling balanced, like you have, 50% of the feminine energy in your life and then 50% of masculine, this is the sweet spot. And this is where healing can happen, right? And this is where there is no anxiety and no burnout. Okay. So start paying attention to the wonderful things that you have. Stop eating so fast. Stop working so fast. Stop moving faster. Shopping faster and moving through life like you are going to die, like something is going to happen so soon. Okay, so we're going to talk about slowing down, and there you have it. These are the 5 secrets to healing from anxiety and burnout. And of course, this is not all of it, this is not everything, but these are super, super crucial for the beginning of your healing journey. Okay, so let's dive a little bit deeper into each and every one of them. So secret number 1, have a restorative sleep. So in order to start healing, you need to teach your body that you are trustworthy and that you are not in danger. So remember, I spoke about the fight and flight response. And I remember in my case, even when I went to sleep at night, hoping that I'm, resting and restoring, first of all, I would wake up at night completely exhausted. So that is already a sign that I was not restoring and not rejuvenating at night. And also I would wake up in panic with like heart palpitation. And it's also a sign that that my adrenals were completely fried and that I had to do something from the core. And so in my situation, what I've done is, I didn't mention it here, but it was a part of my plan, is to start incorporating something that is called adaptogens into my body so that I can actually not only support my adrenals, but actually help them heal. So for me, once I started using adaptogens, I started adding them to my smoothies and shakes and even to my foods and salads. Over time, I've noticed that I can first start sleeping. So I started having a restorative sleep. And from there, I found like it was like layers, right? Once I got once I was able to sleep, better, I could add another layer and another layer of healing, right? It didn't happen all at once. So once you start sleeping restoratively, you will access your sympathetic nervous system, which is the antidote to the fight and flight response, right? So the fight and flight response happens in the parasympathetic nervous system response. But when you are resting and digesting, you need to be in the sympathetic nervous system, which is where healing happens, right? You cannot heal unless you are inside of this state. And then when it comes to sleep, it's not the quantity of sleep. So it's not necessarily the hours. So I know I have some clients who are commuting for, they have a long commutes, and it's just, it's just unreal for them, for where they are in their life, to have a, longer sleep than they would want. And so it's really not the quantity of sleep that count, but the quality. So you could be sleeping for even 5 or even 4 hours at night, but still being able to wake up restored and rejuvenated, right? It can totally happen. But I'm not saying that this is healthy, but it could happen. So thankfully we do have the weekends, and so the weekends should be the times when you are catching up with sleep. And also, if you can, and I think every single woman, every single human really, but especially women, should be napping throughout the day. So make sure you find some time, and it doesn't have to be an hour, right? I napped today because I knew I have a long day. I napped today for 20 minutes, and it was a power nap for me. It was good. I woke up naturally. I didn't feel like I need to extend it. So the thing is, when you don't wake up when you do wake up tired, that's a mistake. You tend to it affects everything, right? You tend to make poor food choices. Your mood is grumpy. Your attitude, everything follows that, right? So sleep is number one. It's the secret, number one secret, not so secret, for when it comes to healing from anxiety and burnout. Okay, so make sure you are starting and getting a restorative sleep, not just sleep, a restorative sleep. So research shows that thyroid hormones, sex hormones, and of course stress hormones have been found higher in those who don't sleep well. So some ideas, if it's real. So for me, for example, and I found that when I was younger, I could sleep anywhere and I could sleep in any condition. Like it could be really, really, bright where I'm sleeping, or really, really dark, and it didn't matter to me. But now I'm much more sensitive. So I find that wearing a sleep mask at night really helps, because I feel like I need to be in complete darkness. And when you're in complete darkness, your body is starting to produce a hormone called melatonin, which is your sleep hormone. So if you don't have melatonin in the body, you can't sleep. You cannot fall asleep, right? And what happens is, actually, if your body is pumping adrenaline and cortisol, melatonin cannot override that. So we need the adrenaline and cortisol have to come down lower, and then melatonin can take over and will get you to a restorative sleep. Okay. Another ideas you can do is to take a hot bath or shower before you go to bed. So I like to take a really, really hot shower or a bath before I go to bed, because first of all, it helps with energy. And the second thing is, when I'm close my eyes and envision as though I am flushing out the adrenaline and the cortisol out of my body. And I know it's woo-woo energy, blah, blah, but it actually works, right? Because what's happening is I am kind of like, this is self-care, right? I am nurturing myself. I'm speaking to myself, and this is actually called self-mothering and self-parenting. So this is the main thing that we do when we begin this journey of healing. So make sure, try this. This is a really cool tip. Just close your eyes, and this is in alignment with the slowing down, right? So train yourself to just close your eyes and just calm, shutting down your thoughts and this monkey mind that we all have, and just breathe and exhale and allow the water to wash off the energy, and then also help to envision that your adrenals and the adrenaline and the cortisol are flashing out of the body. Also, unwind an hour before you are going to sleep. I find that, if you go to bed and, fall asleep right away, it's really, I don't know, for me, it's challenging. I need time to kind of prep my body to fall asleep. So I give myself at least an hour. I put the kids to bed. By 9 o'clock, they are all asleep. And so I get into my room, I make sure all the lights are dimmed, and then, I take my shower, and then I read a little bit, and I just kind of, maybe we have some sex with my hubby, whatever you do. But just help your body to send to your nervous system, for those of you who are unbalanced in your nervous system, to send the cues of relaxation and that it's time for bed and time for a restorative sleep. Right? And also, please, no electronics in the bedroom. So no phones, no iPads, no computers, none of this stuff. Not only is it, tempting, because if it's there, you're going to take it, and then you're going to find yourself scrolling on Facebook and Instagram until it's 1 a.m. And this is not going to lead you. This is not self-care, and it doesn't lead you to a restorative sleep. And also, electromagnetic fields is actually a real thing, right? It actually, especially if you're already anxious and and burnt out, that means that your energy is low to begin with. So you don't want to have anything else that kind of stands in the way of your energy. So remove all electronics. You know, if you must charge your phone, or if you're using this for your alarm in the morning, do that in the bathroom, or maybe in the hallway, or maybe, you know, further away from your bed. But at least your phone should be at least a meter away from where you're sleeping, right? Not anywhere close to your head. So this is the secret number one, that is all about having a restorative sleep. The second secret is to use the female daily living in alignment with your feminine current. So on your right, what you see here is a tracking sheet, a daily tracking sheet that I've designed. It is called a female, because we're female, but actually the word female is an acronym. So I think this is really cool. So the F stands for food, the E stands for energy and emotion, the M stands for menstrual cycle, the A stands for at rest, which is sleep, the L stands for libido, which is sex drive, and the E stands for elimination, which is poop. So every single female, every single woman must be tracking those 6 things every single day. And the more you do this, the more you will start to cultivate a really close relationship, you know, this feeling of connection to yourself, right? Because on this sheet, you will get all the clues that you need for, you know, why you're feeling this a certain way, why are you so grumpy, why are you so agitated, why are you so nervous, why are you so upset, why are you so happy, why do you have so much energy today, right? All of the clues are going to be on this sheet, and I'm going to explain how to use this. And also, please expect this sheet. I will this is one of the bonuses that you're getting as an attendee of this webinar. I will send this tomorrow along with the replay of this webinar. So make sure you check your inbox. It is going to come today. So what I recommend for you to do is, like I do, I print a bunch of these sheets all at once, so 30 or even 40, and I keep like a clipboard, and I keep all of them in the kitchen. So every single day I begin a new sheet, and I make sure that I track what I eat, my energy levels, my poop, and all this. Okay, let me explain how to use this very quickly. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to place the date over here at the top right corner, and then you're going to say where you are in your menstrual cycle. Are you menstruating? Are you in the follicular phase? So the follicular phase is the week right after you're done with menstruation. The ovulation is when you ovulate, so it's about day 14 if you have a regular cycle. And the luteal phase is it's about roughly a week before you're starting to menstruate. So you're going to say where you are in your menstrual cycle. And then the second thing you will do is, as you can see here, there is a circle. So the outer circle is for recording your food. So let's say you wake up at 6, and then you're having breakfast. You've had a breakfast around 8 or 9 a.m. And then you've had your lunch around 3 or 4. And then you've had your dinner around 8 to 9 p.m., right? Whatever snacks you've had in between, you're going to write them down. Now, the reason I've designed this as a circle, first of all, is because I believe that as women, we are cyclical beings. We are rhythmical beings. Like, we're not designed to be linear, like, for example, men. And as a result, I also wanted us to see that the way we eat affects how we feel. So not only that, but also having your food in this way, recorded in a circle, helps you to visibly see the gaps in between, when you've eaten. So as a woman, we should be eating every 2 to 3 hours, right? So if you've eaten, let's say at 8, and then the next time was at 2 to 3, that is too big of a gap. And what happens is that, and for the majority of us, this is kind of like a pattern. So first of all, this already sends a stress response to the body. So the body is already stressed and overwhelmed at this point. So you don't want to do that. Also, you are kind of setting yourself up for blood sugar kind of like fluctuations. And the more fluctuations you have in terms of blood sugar levels, the more agitated, anxious, and burnt out that you will feel, right? And so in order to eliminate that, you must, and this is self-care, right? You must be feeding yourself properly. And as a woman, this is why I said you have to learn how to eat like a woman. We must be eating about every 2 to 3 hours, right? So you've eaten at 8, you should be eating next time around 11, 12, and then around 2 to 3, and then 5 to 6, and then if you want something, a quick snack before bed around 8 to 9, and that's it, right? I don't recommend eating. I recommend finishing eating about 2 hours before you're going to bed, just to give the digestive system an opportunity to fully digest and not to go to bed with a heavy stomach. All right, so this is food. And then the second circle is for tracking your energy levels. So I like to track how I feel before I have eaten and after. And also elimination. So you need to know when you pooped every single day. So not only when, so this allows you to track, what time of the day, but also what kind of poop you've had. So over here I have the Bristol poop chart, and basically it's very simple. It has numbers, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and all the way to 7. And so 1, 2, and 3. These are poops that signify that you are constipated. Number 4 is the most desired kind of poop. This is the healthiest kind of poop. And then 5, 6, and 7, they signify diarrhea or poop or maybe undigested food. And all of those things, again, they are signs that something is happening in the body, and you need to pay attention and then course correct as a result. So it's super important to track your poop, and you must be pooping every single day, just like we want our kids to poop. Remember, we wanted them to have one soiled diaper at least once a day. The same for us, okay? And then you should be tracking how many hours you slept at night. And I also like to add, whether my sleep was solid or maybe interrupted and all those things, because again, these are clues. And then the last thing you want to record is your sex drive. How was your libido today? Did you feel sexy? Did you feel attractive? Did you feel desired? Did you have sex? Did you not? So all of those things, they matter, because they will give you clues as to what is happening with your hormones. Because as a healthy woman, what you want to have more is to have more sex hormones as opposed to stress hormones, right? So they're like the two kind of counteractive hormones, right? They're the antidote to one each other. So if you're not craving, if you let's say you're in your ovulatory phase, right, you should be having a lot of kind of sexy feelings, but you don't have them, that is a signal. This is a sign that you might be more stressed than usual. And so what do I need to do in order to to take care of myself? How do I need to change? All right, so this is the female daily tracking sheet. And so the feminine current, I could do a whole webinar, and I will do a webinar about the feminine current soon. The feminine current is really a system that I've developed to help women live like women. So just quickly, I'm going to explain. Over here, you can see 4 dots, and these dots, they represent 4 phases. So in a day, you have 4 different phases. So your energy, if you think about your energy, it changes throughout the day, right? So in the fertile void, this is when your energy is let's say the lowest, right? Because you're supposed to be asleep, you're supposed to be resting, and this is the time when your body is restoring. This is the time when your body is healing. So think about this as the energy of winter, right? When things are kind of white and calm. Nothing is sprouting outside, but a lot is happening under the ground, right? Under the earth. And then the phase of emergence, it is the time of, in a day, it's the time of the beginning of the day, right? So between 5 to 7 a.m. The day is just emerging. So the energy is just starting to pick up. So it has the energy of spring. And so you are kind of like picking up on that energy. And that the energy of visibility, that's the energy of summer. So this is when you're supposed to have the most energy in the day. And then how are you going to what are you going to do in order to keep up with this level of energy? If you feel like you don't have energy during the time of visibility, this is also a sign. And so again, how can I set myself up for success and have a healthier visibility, and have more energy throughout that phase. And then the phase of culmination, it has the energy of the fall. So you're kind of in a day, it's between 5 to 8 p.m. And that is when naturally your energy is kind of drops and you're getting ready for bed. And so these are the 4 phases of creation, and we have them in a day, we have them in a week, we have them in a month, and we have them in a year. And as a woman, we need to learn how to take care of our bodies as a woman, right? As these rhythmical and cyclical beings, so that we can really show up in the world like the divine beings or the goddesses that we are. All right. So this is secret number 2. And secret number 3 is to have a bowel movement daily. And so I'm not going to talk too much about this because I spoke about this a lot in the second portion, but constipation, and remember this, constipation is the mother of all disease. If you're constipated, you are going to be sick, because that means that your body is not, the food that you are eating is not moving, and so there is stagnation, whether it is energetic stagnation or actual physical stagnation. You need to take it. We need to do something in order to get things moving. So the things that you can do, and this is really a very short list. Eat green vegetables with every single meal, whether it's breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Keep yourself well hydrated. So drink water, just clean, pure water throughout the day. Follow the steps to good digestion. So chew your food. Make sure you don't inhale your food. Slow down when you're eating. Make sure that you don't drink when you eat. So if you must drink, just sip instead of gulping. And then, instead of eating the food so quickly, make sure you eat it with other people, so you have a conversation, so you give your digestive system a break and an opportunity to get into that sympathetic nervous system where digestion really happens flawlessly. All right. And then also there is a really good tip. Use a squatty potty to empty your bowels. And the squatty potty, it's basically a plastic stool that you put under. It's actually a product. I have it in all of my bathrooms. Just look it up. And basically what this does, it helps your legs to be elevated, because as humans, we're actually designed to eliminate in a squatting position as opposed to a 90-degree angle. And so I know this kind of seems weird, but this on its own had changed so much for me. And I actually am also teaching my children to poop in that position. And now when I go to my friends and family's houses, I feel like my body is craving the squatty potty. And so absolutely get yourself a squatty potty. I bought mine at Bed Bath & Beyond. I think you can buy it on Amazon, but an absolute must. And make sure you have them throughout your entire house, because this is really, really important. Okay. So secret number 4, start doing yoga and also embodiment work. Now, yoga is kind of like a complementary healing method to, you know, the other healing, the other things that you're going to be doing to support your adrenals and to really heal from anxiety and burnout and all of that. And the reason why yoga works so well and why it works so well for me is because not only are you working with your head, but you're actually kind of like getting out of your head and getting inside of your body. So you're moving your body, you're using breath as a form of moving meditation, right? And you're really giving your body the opportunity to move the energy around. And also as women, especially women that have had birth, who've birthed a baby out of their body, whether it is through C-section or through a natural birth, there is so much energy that is stagnant inside of our hips, believe it or not. And every single one of my clients had said 100% that they have experienced some level of birth trauma. And so this stuff is real. I'm not just kind of making this up. And in order to allow this energy to move, we need to be moving our body. So whether it is yoga or some embodiment work, or even if you just, regularly dance and move your hips, it is already going to make so much change. Plus it's fun, right? So when you're having fun, your body is releasing endorphins so that, your nervous system is getting the cue that you are not under attack, that you're happy and that you're well. And so then you can be more and spend more time in the sympathetic nervous system. All right, so this is secret number 4, super, super important. And this is one of those things that you would do not right away. You can do this after you feel like you have a pretty solid nighttime routine and you are already getting a good restorative sleep. So this is like the next level of, healing layering. And then secret number 5, slow everything down. This is such a difficult concept for women, believe me, for me too, to slow down. What do you mean? Like, what do you mean? I'm just going to not do anything? So no, that's not what I mean. What I mean is to just have a bigger perception and perspective about life, right? When we're rushing and always in a rush to be somewhere other than here, we are missing so much of our life, right? Because it's like the grass is always greener somewhere else but here. But the truth is that the majority of us, we have really good life, especially, in this day and age. We have food, we have a roof over our heads, we have cars, we have hopefully money, we're working. Like, we have a lot of things that we have to be grateful for. So the reason why I say to slow things down is because I want to encourage you to bring spaciousness into your life, right? And this is where working with a coach is extremely valuable, because a coach will challenge you and ask you why you're doing the things that you do. What is the motivation behind the rush and the constant achievement and the go, go, go? Is it often, and it is often not about the larger bank account and eliminating the mortgage or thinner thighs. In most cases, what I found is about the perception of how having these things will make you feel, right? So, let's take the example of the bank account. I want to have a larger bank account because it will make me feel freer. It will allow me to travel. It will allow me to spend more time with the people that I love, right? So it's really diving deeper into those things that help you to connect to the real reason why you're so motivated to, keep going. And I believe that everything you need is already within you. But in order to see it and access it, you have to slow down and pay attention. You must surrender, you must release, and you must let go of control and see how the life that you want is manifesting right in front of your eyes. And the truth is that you were born this way. This is not something that is new to you, right? This is just something that you simply forgot. And it's time to remember. So here's a really good quote that I want you to remember. One definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over, year after year, and expecting a different outcome. Yet it is like we are in a trance for 10 or 30 years, or for some, a lifetime, doing all we can to make ourselves more, as if we are not enough. Yet not seeing that we just keep doing the same thing over and over, and our lives never seem to look any different. We think we just require a different diet or a different exercise program or less food on our plate, and that will make all the difference. And girlfriend, the truth is that this is all BS. The truth is that everything you need is right inside of you. All right, so these are the 5 secrets, and I hope this has been helpful. So from now going forward, you have 2 options. You can either do it the hard way, meaning, on your own, spend hours Googling and researching, trying different supplements, spend hundreds of dollars working with different practitioners who might or might not help you, listen to podcasts, read books. You can do all of those things, and I encourage you to keep learning always. Or the other option, if there is really something that you must look at, you feel called to change, then you can just skip over all the hard stuff and take the easy road. Just push. It's almost like pushing the easy button, because I've already figured it out for you. I've already done the work. I've already made the mistakes. I know that this works. I've tried this with myself and with my clients. So let's just get the show going. You're here because you want results. So, like I said, my program is designed to take a woman, a wife, and a mother who feels confused, who feels dry, disconnected, unhealthy, unjoyful, and guide her through my transformative 6 months program into a strong, vibrant, alive, powerful, animated, focused, fun, loving, passionate woman who flirts with life, embodies her true potential, and raises her family from that very place. So you can feel calm, so you can feel relaxed, connected, peaceful, present, strong, trusting, and know how to take care of yourself. Finally, for the first time ever, right? So this is the program. It's called the Health Begins with Mom Mastery Program. And it is divided into 5 sections. So the first section, it's all about setting yourself up for success. So this is where we really hone into your morning and evening routines. This is where I teach you more about journaling and really using journaling as a practice of reaching and accessing your inner wise mother as a form of inner guidance and as a way to quiet the chatter in your head and quiet the monkey mind. So this is where you will also start your yoga practice, whether it's at home or at a designated yoga studio. This is where we will do the majority of your embodiment work. This is where we will dig really deep and start peeling out the layers of the onion. And then the 3 sections following that are targeted at helping you heal the triangle. So we are going to start with balancing your nervous system, and then we're moving on to your digestion and then your hormones. And all of this is going to be, embodiment work and coaching and health coaching is really woven into all of that. And this program, because it is a one-on-one program, it is a very customized program, right? And I teach you how to engage your feminine energy, how to use your feminine superpowers, how to understand and tap into the wisdom of your menstrual cycle. Whether you menstruate or not, it doesn't really matter. But really start living in a cyclically as opposed to linearly. Okay, so this is the program. So this program is for you if you feel like you are at the verge of a breakdown, mental, emotional, or even physical, right? If you know that you sleep less than 5 hours a night and you feel exhausted and burnt out as a result, if you wake up tired and can barely get out of bed, this is for you too. If you are so tired that you are afraid that you'll get into a car accident as a result of falling asleep at the wheel, if you struggle with winding down at night and end up finding yourself scrolling through your phone until it's midnight, if you're so busy that you end up eating junk food, processed foods, or your kids' scraps, or in the worst cases, you forget to eat altogether. So also, when you're at home, you're constantly yelling. And even if you're not yelling, you're just feeling like this is not who you want to be, right? If you're moody, raging, and angry a lot, if you are on antidepressants and want to get off them, but you're afraid of the side effects, if you eat emotionally, if you know that you have a tendency to eat your feelings, this program is for you also. If you wish to be a calm and more peaceful mom and parent, if you feel like you're not setting a good example for your children and you don't feel successful as a mom, and you do want to change that, then this program is for you. If you are at the stage that your body is already manifesting physical symptoms. So for example, when you get blood work done, your vitals show that you're healthy, but deep inside you know that something is not right. This program is for you. If you feel like your body is physically not able to keep up with your busy and rushed lifestyle, this is also for you. If you can't recognize yourself anymore, you used to have so much energy before the kids, this is also a program that is designed for that. If you have a weak immune system and you get sick a lot, if you got sick a lot as a child, or if maybe your adenoids or tonsils were removed in childhood, this is also something that we touch upon. If you have a thyroid condition which runs in your maternal line, this is also something that we work on. If you have digestive issues and sometimes you feel embarrassed in public, so things like bloating and farting and cramps and indigestion, acid reflux, heartburn, all those things we also work on. If you have some menstrual issues, if you want to feel free from prescription pills, if you have some known or maybe unknown hormonal imbalances, well, after today's quiz, I think you got the idea. If you've had miscarriages in the past, if you struggled with infertility, if you have a low sex drive, but you used to love sex, right? And you want it back. All of those things, if you resonate with them, then this program is for you. However, this is not for you. If you feel good about where you are in terms of your health and wellness, then that's amazing. Keep doing whatever you've been doing so far and keep thriving. And I salute you for that. It's also not for you if you are not willing to take a risk and try something different, because I will challenge you to try different things. And you might even not like me for that, but this is just the way it is. If you cannot let go of control, this is also not for you, because I will ask you to surrender and release, and I will actually guide you through some embodiment practice to help you work through that. If you believe that you are a victim and cannot change your own destiny, this is also not for you. All right, so let's talk about what is included in the program, just to give you an idea of how this works logistically. So this is going to be 6 months of bi-weekly 30-minute one-on-one coaching calls with me. So this is a customized health coaching plus embodiment work that we do together, and that alone is valued at $3,600. Then you're getting daily access to me via email and Voxer for 6 months, with obviously limited access to me on weekends. And this is valued at $1,000. Then you're also getting an unlimited access to my members area with pre-recorded videos and training material. And this is valued at $997. You are also going to get access to recipes and how-tos, and this too, like this alone, I could sell it easily for $9.97 because it's so good. By the way, all the recipes in this program, I've designed that. I've created them with the busy mom in mind. So all of them are super easy to put together. They're like 10 ingredients or less, one pot kind of recipes. They're all family friendly. So what I want is I want you to cook in alignment with, you know, with your feminine current, but I also want your family to enjoy this meal as well. So I don't want you to be cooking for yourself and then for them and you know, making more work for you. So all the recipes are really designed with you, with the busy mom in mind. You will also you will have access to all group coaching programs that I run while you're enrolled in the mastery. And that is valued at $5.99. You are also going to get an unlimited access to my 2 online programs. So the first one is called From Process to Whole Foods in 6 weeks, which is basically a program that is designed to help you detox your kitchen. So remove all the unhealthy ingredients and slowly, step by step, stock them up with healthier ingredients. And then the second program is called the Yoga of Motherhood, which is valued at $3.99. And that is basically the work of embodiment, the work of yoga. If you don't have time to go to a yoga studio, or you really want to do these targeted exercises to help the stagnant energy in the second chakra, so the hips, to get unstuck, this is exactly why I created this one for. So as you can see, all of those amazing things that you're getting are valued at $7,592 US. This is US currency. But as a webinar attendee, you get 50% off. This is crazy. That is only $3,796 if you paid in full, or 6 equal payments of $700 a month. So I really hope that this information has been helpful. I wanted to share 2 testimonials from my clients. So if you're here, stick around for a little longer. I know I kind of pushed the time beyond what I promised, but I really want you to hear these 2 stories, and then we're going to start wrapping things up. So this is Felicity's stories, and she goes, I remember when I first started working with Dorit, I was scared about how uncomfortable I was doing the seemingly simplest of things, such as walking into a supermarket. It was such an energy leak for me to not choose something from my emotional eating backpack. For example, chocolate or soft drinks. Dorit taught me how to recognize that what my higher self wanted and what my current body at the time was telling me were 2 completely different things. Our bodies want to heal, and Dorit's program gave me the opportunity to see, learn, and do just that. My entire vocabulary around how I used to talk to myself has completely shifted. She has helped me understand and fully embody who I am as a woman, wife, and mother. I am way more present for my daughter in a way that I could only dream about a couple of years ago. The way I live my life and my awareness as a whole has completely shifted thanks to Dorit and her program. And then Danielle's testimonial, she goes like, working with Dorit had given me the permission slip to choose myself. It is quite bizarre to remember myself in the past. I have transformed from being an overworked and bitter woman, wife, and mother into a goddess, like she says, who moves through life unapologetically without shame or guilt. Learning about the feminine body and the feminine current and tuning into the wisdom of my menstrual cycle had given me the courage to make choices that support and nourish me instead of pushing myself too hard all of the time. As a driven and ambitious business owner, doing and being go, go, go was my identity. And I've learned that in order to be more productive, I must incorporate rest into my life. Otherwise, my tank gets empty and I have nothing to give to my family and work. Every woman should know this stuff. I'm excited to pass this on to my 2 daughters as well when the time is right. Thank you, Dorit, for your work. It had changed my life. So that's amazing. So my guarantee to you, I want to give you a guarantee because a lot of people are kind of worried when it comes to a coaching program. But because I know that this work and program works, I'm going to give you a guarantee. If you do the work, if you show up to all the coaching calls and you send me those female daily tracking sheets daily, which is, by the way, one thing that you are going to be required to do, and you still aren't happy, show me the work that you've done, and then I will give you 100% of your money back. This is how certain I am that this program actually works. All right, so if this is something that interests you, then I encourage you to apply for the mastery today. By applying, it doesn't mean you're automatically accepted. I'm really deliberate in terms of the people that I choose to work with, because I just really want to make sure that this is a good fit. So the first step for you, if this is interesting to you, then it, is to fill out the application. So every time I take only 10 spots, only 10 clients at a time. And right now I am interviewing clients and I'm inviting people to work with me. So if you'd like to be considered for this work, please fill out the application and we will get on the phone to see if we're a good fit. So this is the link. So it's www.healthbeginswithmom.com/apply. So head on over there and fill out the application on the page, and I will, once I get it, I will be in touch with you and we'll get on the phone as soon as possible. All right, I'm gonna stop talking and I'm going to allow you to ask me questions if you have any, and then I'm gonna let you go because it's time for us to go to bed already. Lauren, would I be that client? We'll see. Fill out the application and let's get on the phone. I'm excited to learn more about you and about your health goals and what you want to achieve. Where is the screen with all of you? All right, Lauren, any questions? Tal, any questions? Laura left. But if you have any questions, this is the time. And then if not, I'm going to say goodbye and I'm going to thank you so much. When you were talking about sleeping, no questions. Thanks, Dorit. Thank you so much, Lauren. Thank you so much, Tal, for sticking around. I know it's been, oh my gosh, almost 2 hours. Thank you so much for, I'm going to put the camera back. Thank you so much for sticking around. Thank you so much for spending the time with me. Thank you so much for showing up for yourself, for your health, for your body, for your family, for the world, for the work that you do. And even if the work that you do now is not inspiring yet, and you feel like, you could do something else or more, this is still the journey, right? This is where it all begins. This is your journey. So own it and love it. And it's just a part of, the unfolding. Okay, so I see that there are no questions. I have some questions that people ask me often. So I'm just going to talk a little bit about them. I get a lot of questions about how much time in a week this program requires. So this is a good question. Well, typically, so we are meeting bi-weekly. So the work that I will require you to do. So first there is the work of filling in the, of tracking your food the whole day. And then at the end of the day, snapping a picture and sending this to me. That is not very kind of labor intensive, but this is still something that you need to do. And then on a week, in a week, you are looking at maybe anywhere between 2 to 3 hours that you need to put into, the work of our work together. Okay. How do coaching calls work if I travel a lot for work? So what we do is my calendar, you will get a link to my calendar. And because I work with people all over the world, obviously I do accommodate time zones. And so if there is a time that in my calendar, in my schedule that works for you, then you will pick that time. And if not, then you can always, let me know about that. And we always figure this out. I have yet to have a case where I couldn't figure out a time to work with a client. So don't worry about that. What if my family don't want to eat what I cook? Well, this will happen for sure. There is going to be kind of like a learning curve in terms of, the things that they're used to and the things that, the new things that you're bringing into your home. Remember, you are the messenger. You are bringing this health message into your home, and it will happen that there's going to be resistance. And the resistance is not something to be kind of pushed back. It's something to be owned and kind of to be expected, right? And so I remember in the beginning, I still kind of accommodated my kids. And with the time, I started explaining them more and more and more that, mommy is not cooking. I'm not going to be cooking. I'm not going to be a short order cook. And, it's time for us to eat one meal altogether. Now, having said that, this is exactly the reason why I've designed all the recipes to be family friendly, because, it's one thing to be, to prevent them from eating, from like not cooking what they want to eat. But also I do want them to eat, right? So I do want to accommodate them, and I do want them to enjoy food. So, I find that what I have now is working pretty well. And this is what I have to offer inside of this program as well. And also, you don't have to be so rigid about my recipes, right? It's really about learning the different ingredients that are right for each one of the cycle of the phases in your feminine current. And then you're free to, make your own and create your own recipes and customize them to your family. What happens if I don't have a gym or yoga membership? In the beginning, you don't have to have a membership per se. You can totally, work with the program that I've created at home. But with time, you will see that you will start craving it. So by the end of our work together, I do want you to be at a place where you have a solid, membership or attendance at some kind of a, either a yoga place or a gym or maybe a boot camp, some place where you are regularly moving your body, right? I want you to get into the habit of that. Will you make me join? I had somebody who said, will you make me join? And I'm like, yes, I will. Because it's important, right? It's important for us to move. But in the beginning, don't worry about that. In the beginning, it's all about helping. In the beginning, there's a lot of mindset work. And then you will see, it's not about me telling you, you have to go. You will say, oh my gosh, I crave going. I crave this and I crave that. All of a sudden, you will get permission to do all of those things, right? So you will see how things will evolve for you. All right. So these are all the questions. If you don't have any more questions, I'm going to say thank you so much for sticking all the way through and listening to my voice. I hope this has been helpful for you. If you have any other questions that you want to ask me, you're free to send them. You're welcome to send them over at support@healthbeginswithmom.com, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. If you are applying for the mastery, I salute you. I congratulate you. I cannot wait to get on the phone with you and see if we are a good fit together. So I am sending you off with so much love and much healing, and I'll catch you on the podcast and on Instagram and on Facebook and in my emails. And I'm sending you off with a great night's sleep May you have a restorative sleep, and I'll catch you next time. Bye, ladies.
Thank you for listening to the Health Begins with Mom show. I love hearing from you, so please post your comments and questions over at healthbeginswithmom.com/podcast. If you love the show, please share it on social media and in your real life with other moms who might enjoy this content. And if you have a burning question or topic you'd like me to hit on the show, just drop me a line at Dorit@healthbeginswithmom.com. And if you love this show and really want to support it, please go to iTunes, write a review, and subscribe. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll catch you next time. Much love and many blessings.